Hello and welcome to the Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design, where summer is here and our silver and gold coconuts are ripe for prophecy reading. This is episode number 34. Future is coming. I am the long-name gamer as the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the farmer. Thanks for joining us on this episode. This week, we look towards a brighter future in the gaming landscape.
Hopefully it will be a nice and beautiful one. But before that, let's take a look at this week's news. Of course, first in the docket we have solidarity with Black Lives Matters movement. Bungie announces a bunch of Destiny 2 stuff and massive DMCA takedowns through Twitch. So, the issue at hand, my friend.
The issue that everyone is talking about.
Yes. It's no longer COVID-19.
I mean, on top of everything.
Yes.
But the Black Lives Matter movement, it's a serious thing.
Everybody has been talking about the horrifying video of the police just like choking a dude to death.
It is.
Like that's
it is unsettling, and it is.
Yeah.
It is really sad.
Yes, and we've been seeing like protests through the week. Even today, there is still protests going on.
Yeah, there are still protests.
I think this morning was the procession to bury George Floyd, which was the name of the African American that was brutally murdered by the police. And yeah, this morning was I was checking the news because in internet, like ABC News, I checked them in the morning to see how the protest and everything is going to keep me informed. Well, I take breakfast and everything else, and I was seeing like today was the they moving him to the burial site, but everybody has been pronounced about this movement, even
which is good.
Which you should speak up. You should hashtag Black Lives Matters. No more police violence, which is insane everywhere.
Police brutality is a thing in a lot of places.
Yes.
Not only America.
Yeah, but like in America it's especially like crazy.
It is insane and frightening up to some degree.
Yeah, and like we have seen like it's ironic. Like I think Alanis Morissette will be very happy singing that song till the end of the days. But like there being protests about police brutality, and they do more police brutality to the ones protesting, which is like an insane circle.
Let's not talk about the response of the administration.
Yeah, oh my God, it's just it's like oh no, you spill water on me. All right, let me bring a bucket to fix it. And just spill more water, now you're all wet. Problem fixed.
Fighting fire with fire in this situation is definitely not the right call, but
yeah, anyways. But because we're a gaming podcast, we're here to talk that the majority of bigger gaming industry people have been very spoken about this. Bungie did an 8 minutes 47 seconds tribute at the beginning of the announcements live stream on Tuesday. A bunch of delays and Black Lives Matter screens everywhere on all the social media through EA, Sony, Nintendo, and everybody has been doing it because it's an issue that is like, and I've been informing myself about this. And it's like, yeah, it's right. It's an issue that was never fixed in America. It was just like these guys.
It is a systematic problem that has been dormant for decades in American culture.
Yeah.
It is really sad.
It is really, really, really sad, man. It's like
it is 2020. This thing shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, in the middle of a pandemic. It's insanity of top of insanity. It's just like, and like I understand why it happens now. It's like it's the pressure cooker thing. It's like everybody has been like through so much stress, and
It definitely helps,
yeah,
but still, those things shouldn't happen. Like, I don't know if you have seen videos going around of like teachers in like public schools whose demographic is mainly minorities.
yeah,
How they teach the like high school kids or
yeah,
how to
yeah,
respond to like to police stopping them and that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
that's
It's
heartbreaking. Like,
it's
man,
insane. It's insane. It's like you have to fear them because your life will be in danger and do all these
yeah,
ridiculous thing because they can kill you. And it's like,
that
and then you see
is
like police training in America, and
oh,
it's the most
it's
ridiculous thing ever.
freaking insane.
It's like they're you are trained to hunt because you're a hunter and you're a killer, and you should like why are you training your people to like kill people? What are you doing? Like it looks like a terrorist or like a guerrilla style training, right?
Yeah, I know. It's
That's the kind of training that they gives to police. They should serve the
well,
community.
yeah, when they're supposed to like helping people, like
Yeah.
it is
So
just
they put all in a mentality where everybody is the enemy,
yes,
right? And then you look closer, and the police system in America is the most like, oh my god, is the most ingrained and protective things. It's like they live in another society. If you're a policeman in America, you live in like you don't obey to half of the Constitution.
it's crazy.
It's crazy. Anyways, but we praise our friends in the gaming community to be supporting this issue, and it's important that you support it any way we can. Unfortunately for me, I live very, very far away, and I take care of an elderly person, so I cannot go out and protest all the time. But we are here in our content, giving our support for the Black Lives Matter movements.
We do.
Yeah, and please keep fighting so the policies have to change. I know that you are against, I know for everybody that is protesting and trying to deal with this issue, and you're against a horrible administration right now, but you have to keep the pressure. And I
Yeah,
understand that it has dangerous time because of the virus hasn't gone anywhere, but if you actually want real change at this point, the only option that you have is like protest till like something happen. Like
yep.
what else can you do? Like I don't know. At some point, like after the news, I thought that like United States was going like full head on into a proper civil war, but
It's it's unlikely,
yeah, it's unlikely. But oh my god, like
but
people were
it is
really, it's
insane.
really upset. Like everybody's really upset, and like the president doesn't do anything that like
I know
stop the
that.
fire,
That's,
man.
no,
Jesus.
just
He's
let's
like,
not
oh
even
my
go
god.
there.
Yeah, no, yes. That we try not to be too political in this podcast, but when
Uh,
issues faces this way, it's like unavoidable, like
it is
unavoidable.
unavoidable.
Yeah, that we talk about the matter. But here in the Sweaty Farm and the Game Design podcast, we support 100% the Black Lives Matters movement and every protest that you do to
Yep.
it, and hopefully this will come with good changes to America and like to everybody, because even if America is not the superpower that it used to be, it's always the most glaring example of a big nation.
And it is a still trend setting for a lot of
Yes, yes,
countries.
yes, yes, yes.
So
So yeah. Anyways, moving to brighter news. Yeah, on Tuesday's stream, yes, Bungie announced a lot of things for Destiny 2. Like a lot of things. I did you catch up everything that they announced?
nope.
All right, I will catch you up, Lucho. They announced Season of Arrivals, which is the new season starting yesterday. That is the pyramids, the darkness is here, basically. That's what happened. The darkness just land in Io and in Titan. So it's the beginning of the darkness invasion. That's the first thing. Then they announced the next expansion for September, the big DLC expansion like Shadowkeep. So it's called Beyond Light, and it comes with Europa and another location. And then they announced the next two expansion for the next two 2021 and 2022 September big DLC expansions. One is The Witch's Queen, and the other one is a title in progress which is called uh, something with light, like downfall, like lightfall. I think it is. I could be wrong. And on top of that, they announced a system for vaulting content in the game. Basically,
What?
I know.
Mm.
So those are
That
the
just
news.
that sounds artificial.
And then they announced that with the new expansion Beyond Light, we will have new expansion to the Solar Void and Arc Tree powers. So we will have, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but you will have like you're not gonna have a fourth element. You will have something that's called stasis, and it will be like modified every tree on your element chart in the character.
Okay.
So you will have a new darkness powers, and that's the promise to expand those darkness powers, and you will get darkness in you in form of stasis. For now, that's the one that they have announced, that they will modify your powers, and you will modify your supers and modify what your things does, but without being like a new type of thing. Like there's not gonna be like a stasis only three. It's gonna be like attach or expanding the solar arc and void that exists right now.
Yeah, I mean, that means nothing. No, it's just those things, those mechanical changes mean
Yep,
nothing until they're on the game and
correct.
people can test them. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
they can say, oh, yeah, change things and variety and stuff. None of that really matters on paper.
correct. But those are the big announcements they did. What do you think about they announcing like every single DLC fall? Like they're gonna keep in this rhythm of like yearly big DLC expansions.
I don't think they can keep up, but they are trying. So kudos to them.
Well,
Mm, ah,
I don't know. I think Shadowkeep was good,
I
right?
mean, I work middle of the expansion, so yeah, as good as that.
Yeah, exactly. It was at
I think,
least engaging for a while. Like,
yeah, but that's the big problem. You know what I realized yesterday when I was watching your stream?
yes,
Like I saw you after raid night farming something on a dungeon
farming something on a nightfall. Yeah, 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 yeah,
or
yeah,
something. It's basically a dungeon. That's what an
yeah,
eiffel
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And I thought that like we've been like people have been running the same dungeons for what 4 years now
For for how old is Destiny? 3 years.
or 3 years or
Yeah,
whatever. Didn't it came in 2016?
yeah, September 2016. Yes,
Yeah, it's 4 years.
4 years. Yes.
But the point is, like, I saw you running the Nightfall thing, the dungeon thing,
Yeah,
and I thought to myself, I've done that same dungeon multiple times,
yeah,
and after almost 4 years, it gets old pretty fast,
yeah.
and that's I get why I got bored with the game so fast. It was like there is not enough stuff in the game.
Yes. Well, I think that's the promise of. Well, there is a thing here in the announcement. If you saw the um, the live stream, and it was like, we understand that there is content that the game, like, some content that the game has been like grinding too much, exactly what you're talking about. Like you have done the same dungeons for like years and years and years and years, right? And their idea is like they cannot expand much more of the game without reducing the game, right? So the idea of
Um,
sunsetting and vaulting is them like for example, they're gonna like in next expansion they're gonna disappear Titan and Io.
I'm I'm really skeptic of this.
They're gonna
I
disappear
don't
a
I
bunch
don't
of things. That's them.
I
I'm
know
gonna
I
tell
don't
you what
know
they say.
I don't know how that
Yeah.
is conducting to them putting up more content.
What they're saying is like we don't want to put more content on the game right now because it's been too problematic for them to like bug fix and manage everything at the size that the game is now. So the idea for them is to reduce the content of the game, the old content, so bolt the old content and then bring the new content. So new raids, new dungeons, etc., for like at least the a year, and then kind of cycle that content through. So what the idea? I don't know if they're gonna do
That
it. Like,
that cycling is artificial.
yes, of course,
Like it
totally,
is an artificial way of structuring the content. I don't like that.
absolutely, absolutely, it's totally artificial. But what I feel that the idea is like they're saying that the game has gone too big for them, and they want to retire things, which makes sense. Like we have seen it in World of Warcraft, they retire a bunch of things. The difference is
But
like
they don't take them away from
yes,
you.
that's the
It's
difference.
completely different.
That's the thing. Like they had they say that it's too much hassle to have all that content updated, so they're just gonna
Sure, I get
disappear
it. That makes sense.
parts of it and like and revamp it. So they want to. I imagine like I imagine the idea that is gonna and like I'm not saying this is good or bad. I will not have the criteria to say if this is good or bad till they start doing it because maybe it can work. Maybe you only have for a year fresh content in Destiny, including raids and all that stuff that you do normally for
I'm
for
really skeptical.
yeah, we're still very skeptical. So far Destiny has done nothing to convince us that that it can make things happen. But that's the idea. That's the idea they're putting forward.
At- like with this type of announcement, I feel like they should just have done like maybe they should have just done Destiny 3
And just
from the
revamp
ground up,
everything.
free to play. Yeah.
Apparently
In a,
they don't wanna do
I
Destiny 3.
know that they don't
Yeah.
want to, but maybe they should have.
Just Destiny 3
Yeah.
and forget about everything else.
Yep.
Well, that's not the
Like
reality.
like from the ground up, just they know that they're gonna go free to play. They know that they have a smaller studio.
Yeah.
So make a game
That you
from
can
the
handle.
beginning
Yeah.
that you can handle with those things in consideration.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That now like this bolting thing, it feels forced.
Yeah.
That's what
Like
I'm saying. That I feel really skeptical. Like I'm not even cautious. I'm just kind of reluctant.
yeah.
Like I feel this is my personal opinion that they're trying to just put band-aids on the problems.
Instead of
But
like tackling head on, but I feel
yeah,
like but that's difficult in terms like that's a
I'm
directive decision that is difficult to take in any shape or
I'm
form.
not saying it's easy.
Yeah, nobody said it's easy, but like I understand why they're not doing it, and they're doing the other. Like they're doing. It's funny because they're doing.
No, I disagree with that statement. I know that it's a difficult decision,
Yes,
but that's why you need like people in charge capable of making the hard decision.
of course, but like nobody's perfect.
I know that nobody's perfect, but then that's what good managers do. Like
Yes, absolutely right. But what they're doing is they're going in the other direction. They're going through a vaulting system, and they're gonna take things from Destiny 1 and new things and kind of mixing it up all into through the vaulting system. And I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know, man.
Nah, not that doesn't sound good. How are
Like
people reacting
honestly,
to this?
I pick up this season because I want to see the new dungeon because it looks fucking amazing. That's it. That's it. The new dungeon that came in this season looks insane, and I want to see it, and I want to play it. It looks super fun, and it has to do with like dimensions and like twisting stuff. Like, and it looks super funky. It looks like Tron, like super 80s.
It is one dungeon. It's not enough.
Yeah, it's just the dungeon. Like that's the only reason why I pick up the season again, right?
It's
Plus,
it's
the
it's
gearing system is easier.
it's not enough.
It's not enough. Yeah, I agree with that. But I just want to see it dungeon. That's why you saw me playing on stream.
Not enough.
I know that it's not enough for you, but
I'm pretty sure it's not enough for most people.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. Destiny 2 fans seems like pretty okay with this season compared with the other
I
ones.
I
Probably the
think
other
they're
ones was
resigned,
like a
to be
drag.
honest.
Yeah. So hopefully this works for them. But we will see on the next expansion how the bolting and the recycling
Nah,
and everything else. Like because
hopefully.
the best case scenario. This is the best case scenario for the next expansion in September in Bungie. Right? The best case scenario is like half of your content is new, and the other half is revamp, and then you have the like more than half. It has to be like 60% of the content in the game is going to be new, right? With the locations, with the new lost sectors, with the new strikes, with the new nightfalls, and all that stuff. On top of the raid, and on top of more dungeons, I'm guessing. But like, I think I think for Destiny to be a really strong game in terms of content and engagement, they should like at minimum have a dungeon per season, and that's the bare minimum. And like and then every season have a good cycling of content, like between new content and like all content from their vault that they're gonna invent. That's like the bare minimum I'm talking about. Like to be like decent in terms of content. What do you think about
Nah,
it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Again, no, I think they're just putting band-aids. I don't think
Your
that's never
opinion?
a good solution.
Your opinion is they should just like burn it out and build it from the ground up.
Like based on these kind of changes,
Yeah,
now I think that may have been the better solution.
to just like build it right up. You know, like I know they're not gonna do it.
Oh no, they say that they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, I know they're not gonna do it. So the next question is like, will this be the best next solution? No idea. Will Destiny 2 become a better game on the long term? No idea.
I see no light at the end of the tunnel.
You see only darkness.
Just because none of these things sound impactful enough.
Yeah. It's funny because I was playing yesterday and like Destiny is still a fun game, a fun game to play.
Sure, that
But
doesn't
yeah,
like the problem is not that the game is
yeah,
not fun to play.
yeah.
The problem is that I saw you play it and I thought to myself, would I be having fun running the same strike that I have run for years now? Nah,
Probably not.
I don't think so. Like like that's what the streamers are for. Like you
Yeah,
see a like a person who's streaming a game and you think, oh, that looks fucking cool. I want to be doing that.
yeah.
And I saw you streaming and I thought, nah, I have done it before.
It's the
It
same old,
doesn't
same
seem
old.
to be any different. There is nothing
Yeah.
new to strike.
I know. I did like the mission, the small mission to beginning of the
Sure.
like it's
But you were
ridiculous. Like
grinding a strike at the end.
yes, at the end I was like I was doing a strike for a quest. Um, but it's ridiculous. It's like you see this quest line and this content and what they can do, and it's like why is not the rest of the game like? Why don't you do more like that? Like, is that difficult? I guess so.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That if they really feel like the size of the games is hindering them
Yeah.
now, maybe I should scrap it.
Yeah.
If it is that much of a hinder for the team,
Apparently so. Let's try to draw, like, it's an interesting question. Let's try to draw a comparison between Warframe and Destiny. In terms
okay,
of content, they are kind of similar in terms of scope,
yeah,
right?
definitely. But there is a huge there is a small difference that adds up to a lot, and is the time investment that you require for each activity. So a strike in Destiny, which is
Yeah.
kind of a fairly standard activity,
Yeah.
it takes what, 20 to 30 minutes,
Give or take, yeah, like 20 minutes.
20 something minutes,
Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah, more or
you
less.
you random it, like you pug it, and just random people around.
Yeah. Like the faster
Like
I run a
25 minutes.
strike, I think the faster I run a strike is like 15 minutes, something like
Sure,
that. Super
probably
fast.
something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, let's say 20 minutes.
like usually like a non-endless mission in Warframe is
Yeah.
5 minutes.
All right.
Think
Yeah.
of any mission that is not endless, meaning that you don't get to stay. Like you don't have the choice to how much time I'm gonna stay.
Yes.
All of
Okay.
those are like 5-minute missions. So it feels, since they're like super short and fast paced,
Yeah.
it feels less punishing just to doing the same thing.
So you think it's a thing of tempo?
It is a mix between tempo and like what is the right tempo
Yeah.
for how repetitive the content is.
Okay. Yeah. I
And
get
let's
you. I
get
get
something
you.
clear. Like Warframe's content is really repetitive.
Yes. Correct.
Like you're
Yes.
gonna grind the same freaking missions all the time.
Yes. Correct.
Exactly the same. They don't have much variation. But since for the most part they're super fast paced and missions are short, unless you purposefully decide that they're gonna be longer,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel that bad.
I get you. Yeah.
Well, like if, for example, you go for a survival mission and you say, okay, I'm gonna stay for 30 minutes.
You stay for
That
3
is on
minutes,
you.
then you're done. Yes.
And if you don't want, you still can finish the like
yeah, you still
like
can
the
get
first
up.
set of rewards, you get it after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You can still leave. Like it's 5 minutes of your life.
Yes.
So that it is like, think about it, it's 4 or 5 times longer, like a strike in Destiny, which is kind of the standard type of content that you think of grinding.
Yeah.
How long does it take a Gambit match? Something around the same time.
Something around the same time. Yes, correct. Yeah. The same with a Crucible match.
Crucible match is usually around the same time.
Yeah.
So it is tuned to, like Destiny 2 is tuned for activities around the 20 to 30-minute mark.
So you're saying, like, by the model that they have, they should be shorter. Well, they benefit from being like shorter.
Either they pump out more activities so they feel more varied, or
Yeah.
or the pace of the activities should be faster, so
Yeah,
you can
correct.
complete them more in a Warframe like kind of pace. You know what I'm getting at?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's if you think about it, it's kind of the same. Like Warframe is one extreme; it's like super short activities, like very repetitive.
Yeah.
Like Destiny is trying to stand something in the middle, and then you have content like Mythic Plus dungeons in Warcraft.
Yeah.
Which the Mythic Plus affixes change weekly. We know it's a fixed rotations. We kind of know what's up, but it changes from week to week. Which pulls are you gonna make? It changes the path each time.
Yeah.
It has. That's why, for example, Mythic Plus is successful. It has enough variation and enough control over how it changes.
Yeah.
So that it stays fresh week to week. So if you're gonna sit down one day and say, okay, I'm gonna push my keys for the week.
Yes.
and then you get to say, oh, okay, I forget it. And then you have like the long-term content of progressing rates, which it's a longer time investment, but again, it's a longer goal.
Yeah, which is
So
like
that one, for example, doesn't come as often.
Yeah,
And you don't have like you have one rate per patch.
Yeah,
but it's not something that is going to take you, for the most part and for most people, a couple of weeks of
to actually
grinding it
finish
out.
it. Yeah. So it's another
So
it's another different pace, but
it is.
But the
It is.
game the game accommodates to that. Like I've never
I feel
like in World of Warcraft, I never feel like underrewarded from what I'm doing, or I never feel like the game is too slow for the rewards that I'm. You
that's
know
what I'm
what I
getting,
mean?
and I know I know what
Like-
you mean, and I again think it's a mix between the pace of the activities themselves,
Yeah,
and how much diversity those activities offer.
fair enough. Yeah. Yeah,
So
Destiny has to find a tempo.
it is,
somewhere in the middle
and,
if you
and
want.
it was aiming for the middle ground.
Yes.
It's just that the variety and amount of content that they have, and that that they have been able to produce, at least since they went independent, has not been enough
Yeah.
to
keep
keep
that
people
middle ground.
engaged
Yeah.
in that hotspot that they are aiming for, apparently, which is that half an hour mark.
Yeah. Anyways,
And it kind of makes sense. Like, you see a smaller team like
yeah,
they produce content that is fast paced, that is quote
Correct.
unquote faster to produce.
Correct, yes.
And then you have a huge team like the World of Warcraft team,
Which produces these massive, huge expansions with changes.
which produces like these massive raids and
Yeah.
these longest dungeons with like mobs and paths and changes.
And of course, like the problem is like, yes, they still want that middle ground, but there are a studio that got severely reduced.
Yep.
And they're still trying to maintain that pace without adjusting everything, right? And the problem is like I think the big like we are not against growing pains, because it happens, like shit happens and you have to deal with it. But what I guess is like the slow pace in which Destiny 2 team has been reacted to their new situations, and what they have to do to keep their game relevant.
Yeah.
And what standards because that's the other thing, like the other thing that is talked about a lot in Destiny is like they have to keep these like cinematic like standards of quality in their content, and that takes a lot of resources for a medium-sized studio.
It definitely is.
Yeah. So you have to, I think at the end of the day, they have to choose one or the other, and I think they're sacrificing the wrong one.
they made a choice, and again, like all this discussion, you see why is driving me to say maybe the right decision would have been scrap it all.
Yeah, and make
let's produce something like a game that is better tailored to a studio size.
Yeah. Instead of like super struggling in everything.
And we knew that the transition was going to be difficult.
Yes.
And when it got announced, we said it on the podcast, like it's going to be a rocky path.
Yeah.
And kudos for them for taking it, but maybe someone should have said, let's just start over. which it's a hard decision to make.
Yeah.
It requires like a game director with like
big
balls of steel.
Yeah.
This all I don't know. This all reminds me of David Brock, like the Diablo 2 game director.
Yeah.
Like he there are stories about he being like the guy who will just say scrap it all.
Yeah.
I like whenever I think of taking tough decisions in game development, I think of him.
Blizzard.
because he has all. And if you have seen his wife's streams, like he's always
Yeah.
like, if it has to be scrapped, we'll scrap it, and
We'll
that's
scrap
it.
it. Yeah, it's the same. Like with the. I think Blizzard have that kind of directors, because it was like there was another. I forgot his name. The one that was actually directing originally Titanfall, which is the thing that become
Yep.
Overwatch, and they
Yep.
reached
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
point when they say, "Nope, this is not working." Restructure
Scrap it
the
all.
team. Yeah, restructure the team. Try another thing.
And I mean, we cannot compare Bungie
to Blizzard, of course,
because
yeah.
Blizzard, it's a huge studio and it has the financial muscle to shoulder scrapping years of work,
Yeah.
which is financial. It is a financial burden to say we've been working on this product for many years and scrap it all and start over. That's a lot of money.
Yes, correct.
And it is hard to make those decisions for a smaller company, but
Like
I don't know,
Bungie is
it's hard.
different.
It's hard for Bungie, and I feel for them.
Yeah, absolutely,
But
absolutely. I will
but
keep an eye.
I don't think they're moving the right direction. If I'm being honest.
I will keep an eye. I still hope that they find that
Oh,
happy.
I hope as well. Don't get me wrong. I don't want them to fail.
Yeah.
I just right now, current state of the
Yeah.
news, I don't feel things are going the right way.
Yeah, I will do agree with you. I will keep an eye on Bungie and Destiny 2. I'm like, as I say, I'm gonna check out this season just because of the new dungeon. It looks interesting. And the thing about the Darkness, it looks interesting. Like I didn't check the other two seasons because they like what they were doing. It was like, oh, they look super boring, man. But this one, at least it has a little bit of interest. It's more Destiny, yes. It's the same old boring stuff, but I want to check the dungeon, and like I don't think I'm gonna waste. I don't think I'm gonna be like any more time on the besides checking like the weekly drops in the quest lines and checking the dungeon in Destiny. I think that's gonna be the extent of what I'm gonna be doing in the game. Anyways, and for our final news of the week, apparently suddenly DMC start attacking like Twitch streamers. There is a huge attack swap in like you know that you used like if you stream, and it happens in my channel too. When I put like normal music and that sort of stuff, I get muted on my clips, right?
Yep.
On my library,
Yeah.
which is normal. Like I understand that it's like breach
Oh
of
yeah,
whatever.
that's
You're
absolutely
fine.
right.
But lately they've been taking down like channels for this. So they've been starting to do more aggressive. And apparently there was a leak where they say that they could DMC strike you live, but they choose not to.
I mean, they probably can.
Yeah.
Because I'm not expert, but I will guess that the copyright laws are like, since there's a lot of lobbying from the people who own the copyrights.
Yeah.
Probably copyright laws are pretty strict on how you can use music and stuff,
Yeah.
and you know that record labels are super protective of their.
Yeah. So the middle, like the middle thing here is, where should the law find themselves? Because all right, you can just you can like the question is like if you're streaming live and you have background music that is like radio or songs, blah blah blah. You are of course generating content, but that content is gonna be deleted because at the end of the archive content is technically is technically infringing DMC because you are producing content with somebody else's license, right?
Yeah.
Which I understand. Like I'm fine with like they muting the stream archives and that sort of stuff. I'm actually totally correct with that. But the thing is like because the freaking fair use law is being so crazily debated, and like it hasn't been updated since like years and years and years. In theory, you are applying to like this like free to use while you're streaming live and you have some music in the background, right? Because you are not, you are, yes, you are profiting for the content of the music technically speaking, but you are not profiting beyond the streaming that you're doing now. And technically it is part of your content because you are the one gaming or doing something else. The music is just part of your background, right? That's the argument, right? That is the argument of fair
That is
use.
an argument.
Then the question is like, what happened with the streamers that do YouTube reactions? Do you, or like,
The,
yeah,
the thing with reactions is that reactions are different because
yeah,
you're
or
taking
like
a
if
piece
you're
of
watching,
content and you're
if you're watching somebody else stream about an announcement or something or a piece of content, and then you do you comment over that? You know? So if you
yes,
don't,
no. It like the reaction genre, let's call it.
yeah,
It is like it is already protected. Like
by fair use,
there were
technically.
these YouTubers, yeah,
Yeah.
like H3H3.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
They fought for the whole reacting thing,
Yeah,
and the ruling was at least in favor of them, saying that the reaction thing, that like the live comment, is transformative work or the original. So
correct.
it is not like it is on, it falls onto
Yeah.
fair use.
So that's the problem with
But the streaming
music.
is different. Like it
Yeah.
is slightly different.
Yes,
So-
exactly. And that's the thing. Like nobody has been defined, and then everybody's scared that they're gonna like be taken down. There's some
Yeah,
channels
I
that are
mean-
being already taken down, and there's livelihoods being affected because of using just
I-
putting just
I
like
would
radio,
say-
Spotify, or random stuff, right?
Yep, I would say play it safe for now until something becomes clearer.
Yeah, I usually like. It's funny because I usually use. Well, I put radio sometimes, but like maybe I should start doing it less. But the majority of the time, I put Monster Cat, which is a streaming uh, electronic music radio, and like they have like claimed their songs, and I'm fine with it. But like they're not part because they're like live streaming, and sometimes they're like mixes that they all do. They don't have like a big label.
Yeah.
So I know they're not coming to me, but I can even be play more safe and like put generic game music or free royalty music from it exists, right?
I know. I would say play it safe while
Well, this
something
gets sold,
happens.
yeah. While Twitch
While
finds
all
a
of this gets
solution or
sorted
something
out.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and that's the thing, like, and of course the streamer is saying like that deters from the experience that they're offering, right? Because there are a bunch of streamers where you can put music on them, or there's a bunch of streamers where you like to like hear music. Because I sometimes do it, like just put in there, here playing like League of Legends and just music, and on the background he's not talking or anything, just the gameplay and the music. And sometimes that's
I
what
know.
you want. Yeah.
I'm not saying streamers are in the wrong or in the right,
Yeah.
but it is a legal gray area, and until it is sorted out, play it safe.
Correct. Yeah.
That's the end of that. Like, I mean,
So,
what
yeah.
else can you?
Yeah.
like,
Don't
I mean, you can risk it, but
yeah, maybe.
you should, like, if you're gonna risk it, consequences may come your way.
Yes. Be aware of it. While this
User
legal,
beware. So
well, this legal craziness and stuff, and like Twitch makes his official thing, and
Yep.
the lawyers discuss it, and blah 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 blah.
so play it safe. That's
And
it's.
that's
I
it.
mean, would it have an effect on some of the streamers?
Yes.
Sure, but better safe than sorry sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't
So-
wanna lose your livelihood, like,
Yep.
because you wanted to put like certain music in your stream instead of another music in your stream, and think,
Unless you're the brave streamer who has the means to fight it out and
yeah,
like legally fight it out,
correct.
which maybe some big streamers can do it.
I've seen like it's like I saw words like I randomly watch Asmongold, and he puts like a lot of the Rings and like movie
Yep.
licensed music, and he was like kind of like, I'm deleting my stuff and I'm talking with my lawyer and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he was like super
exactly.
worried about it. Yeah.
I mean, maybe what the streamer community needs is what H3 was for the YouTube creating community.
Yeah, just like
Like
fight for it.
some brave soul
Yeah.
shouldering the legal
Thing.
burden of
Yeah.
fighting it, because that's what happened in YouTube with the reaction thing.
Correct.
It was
Yeah. And that's
basically
like,
it was a gray area until
yeah,
someone fight it
until
out.
some. And when Asmogol says I'm gonna talk with my lawyers, he's like he's gonna talk with his lawyers to talk with Twitch because he's one
Probably.
of the biggest. He's the biggest WoW streamer. So it is important for the platform that he is kind of like happy.
Yeah, but maybe what the streamer community needs is
I saw a video that says like why Asmogol is a big WoW streamer, and I was afraid to actually open it. Find some horrible truth about the internet.
because the character that he portrays is super toxic.
Yeah,
and people like that.
Yeah, true. Sure, that's true.
Like, I'm not saying the guy. Like,
no. What's his name? Like Mike? Eric?
Zack or something.
Zack. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But the character
Asmongold. Yeah.
The clownish character that he portrays, it is a portrayal of a toxic stereotype.
Yeah. And that's a thing that like he's been like really clear with. Like I watch his like personal videos on his channel, and he's been very clear that it's just like he's doing a show. That's how he put it, and like it makes sense.
I mean, it is the same question. Like, why do people like the Kardashian things?
Yes,
because they're a toxic, dysfunctional family.
Yeah, and that's probably a show, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely a show.
Yeah.
It is definitely a show.
Yeah. You cannot, like, people, if you ever watch like a reality TV, like those things are scripted.
Of course they are. There is too much money involved in TV for TV producers not to have control over stuff.
Correct.
That is it.
Anyways, that's it for this week's news. So we pass to our deep dive, and of course, a disclaimer. Remember, peeps and listeners, that the discussion here is based on our own opinions and our in-game experiences. Anything that we say here is the way that we look at gaming and the way that we experience gaming. So we are prone to like make mistakes or have like some information incorrect or have like very different experiences that you or some other people.
Yep.
All right. So on a deep dive, we have the 3 topics: young gamers or literacy in gaming, moving the world forward, how the new World of Warcraft stuff is gonna do, and what do you wish for seasons in Diablo 4? All right. So, young gamers, my friend.
Young gamers.
I saw this like somebody sit down his son to play World of Warcraft with no explanation and tell him just go and have fun, right?
Yeah.
So he apparently liked it, but so I have a question for you. When did you felt that you were like game literally, like that you can pick up any game and like play it at a decent degree, like understand how it works?
I honest to God, I don't know.
Right?
But it is like this came just from a Reddit post of a guy saying, "Oh, I'm letting my 7-year-old son like casually play WoW."
Yeah.
And he said something like on the post that resonated with me, is that he didn't understand, like the kid doesn't understand the technical stuff out. Well,
I imagine that it's like rotations and that's stuff.
the
Like,
rotation, builds, stats,
yeah.
numbers. I'm sure it's a 7-year-old.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that when I was 7, I couldn't get it at all.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that he that he enjoys running quests, and if you think about it, quests in Modern WoW
Yes.
especially are like a fairly straightforward quote unquote experience.
Correct. Yeah.
You go and talk to a big NPC with the exclamation mark on their head, and then you go follow the arrow to the zone, and
you kill
do a
whatever.
thing.
Yeah. Kill, collect, or talk with another NPC, or like.
Which is fun. Like,
yeah.
It is like questing WoW is super fun. I love it.
Yes, I agree.
So that's what prompted this discussion about game literacy. Like it is exactly your question. Like, I don't know when was I able to look at a game and say, "Oh,
I know how
the numbers matter."
Yeah.
or there is a balance to the things, you know?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I was like, I think I was like a very early, and I don't know how kids nowadays approach gaming, right? Because now the majority of the gaming is done through super simple mechanics on a phone. If you think about it, right? If you really think about it, like the early gamers in this day and age are trained with tablets and phones, right? Right?
Sure.
Right? And like it is very super basic. And I was thinking like, did it like approach like my first experience with gaming? Like it was, I did had, I man, this is gonna make me sound old as balls, but I did play in a friend's house with an Atari 2600, right? And that was like my first experience with gaming. After that, my dad bought me a Nintendo, like an S. And then between that, my dad bought a computer, and I was like what, 9-year old, no, 8-year old. And I remember sitting down in the computer when I was like 10 years and like booting up discs to play a game. But by then, when I was doing that, I was already 11. But I had already a console from like when I was 6 years old, 7 years old. So it was like pretty, like I was pretty exposed to the console kind of ness, and then I had a Sega after that, and I have like a very early understand what a computer did. Right.
Sure, but none of, I mean,
and like
you could like how it depends, like depending how you want to find game literacy.
Yeah,
you could make an argument that at that point you were still
not literally
learning the basics.
Well, then let's ask a question. What exactly means game literacy?
I mean, a vague but good definition is being able to pick up any game
and just play it at what extent? Yeah, is the question. Just pick it up and play. That's it?
Pick it up and play, like, yeah, like not getting stuck on like a basic mechanic of the game. Not anything like deep or like, oh, it's just that I need to optimize this to be able to pass the roadblock.
Yeah.
But it's like you can get like you can find all the basic mechanics of the game, which is what most games require for you to just go through them, quote unquote.
Correct. So in that sense,
so for example, like let me give you an example.
Yeah.
A perfect example for me is an RTS, like the classic Age of Empires 2.
All right.
Which with the basic mechanics, you can pass the campaign, like all the campaigns. you can enjoy all the story. You
Yeah,
can
just to
no
know that
problem.
you have to build, make units, and move them.
But it gets like some of the campaigns try to teach you like to manage economy
Correct. Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
at least at some basic level, like there are some missions that you cannot complete if you don't have enough resource production.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
So it kind of it's nudged you in the way of, okay, like resource management is a thing. It's not pointing you like, oh, you need to have this many lumbers and this many miners and this
Yeah,
many
yeah.
people on food production. But it's telling you if you don't have enough, it's not telling you what enough is, but if you don't have enough,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be successful in this scenario.
All right. Yeah, yeah.
Which and that like if once you succeed in that scenario, you get, oh, resource management is a thing. So like villagers are important.
All right.
That is a basic mechanic.
All
It
right.
is not like you're not nitpicking. Oh no, I need to have exactly this many at minute
Workers,
3
yeah.
of the game.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No, that doesn't matter. Like if you have a vague idea of, oh, I need enough workers to
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
my
yeah.
economy afloat, I'll be successful. You know,
Cool.
that's for me game literacy.
All
Are
right.
you gonna win tournaments with that? No.
So we get to feel like if you are able to pick up like basic game mechanics
Yeah, like
and
what rule?
understand them.
Yeah, and
Alright.
like maybe you hit your head a couple of times again. Oh, I cannot complete this mission, and then you realize, oh, it was this.
Yeah. Was this basic
Me-
game mechanic.
Yeah,
Alright.
it can be like the mechanic in itself can go like super deep, like.
Yes, of course.
But
Yes. It was like I have that exactly same sensation of how do you because this is part of like how you mature as a gamer and what do you evolve from gaming, right? A little bit, because yes, you can be game literate, but you cannot be mature in game. Like, and it was the funny part because I was playing StarCraft 1 with some friends last time. And I was like, oh yeah, so I remember when I played this game, you just build stuff and make units and go tell and go and like battle and we all have fun. And then I went I check up like a proper strategy of how to open a game in multiplayer. Insert super basic. It's like, you have to build these 3 things and you have to generate these units and attack. And I absolutely destroyed their fun. Absolutely, like they could not comprehend what I was doing for them to like annihilate them super fast in the game. So I think that's the difference to be like literate in game when you just like enjoy the basic mechanics and like be super invested in gaming when you understand like how to maximize those game mechanics, right? But I think with all the access to but my real question about this is like with all the access to game, like to phone games, what are those phone games doing to teach game literacy in terms of understanding mechanics when the majority of those phone games are like gacha games?
Gacha games can get as complicated as you want.
So you say we will have a very good literate like.
Oh,
like
I don't think
generation.
mobile games have that big of an effect on game literacy.
You don't think phone game what? Say again.
Have that big of an effect on game literacy.
You think that phone games
I
are
don't
insufficient?
think.
You don't think?
I don't think they matter.
You don't think phone games matter for game literacy? Like you should like play a real game.
I mean, phone games are real games.
Okay, so will the generation that grows with phone games will be proper like literary gamers in the future?
Yeah, no, they're gonna be perfectly fine.
All right, that was my question. Like,
why wouldn't they?
I don't know. I don't know. I have a Like
Like a phone
maybe,
is just a control scheme.
yeah. That is true. That is true.
It is not about the game.
Yeah,
Like a touch screen, it is just a control device.
that's correct. It's just a type of interface. Uh, but yeah, we'll maybe have like a bunch of like very literally. So hypothetically speaking, if you had a son, what will you do? Like, will you do something in their game experience to encourage him to have certain experience or not?
If they want to.
Right? Will
Games are
you
not for everyone. Video games are not for everyone.
games? Video games are not for everyone. That's an important thing to note here.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that is true. That
Some
is true.
people don't like them, and that's fine.
Yeah,
We
it's funny.
do, but
It's funny. There's some people who say they like games, but they really like. It's an old discussion, but they really just play like football.
what is the problem with that? That is a game.
No, yeah. But like, I find it funny like that some gamers they say that those are not real gamers, but they because the only thing that they play is like one game
But
yearly for years and years and years.
I
Like,
mean, that's true for a lot of people. Like,
yeah, you will play World of Warcraft. The people that only play World of Warcraft for years and years and years.
yeah, are they good in any other type of game? Maybe not.
Yeah, yeah,
That's that's fine. Like, if your thing is sports games, go for it.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. It is still a game.
But yeah, games are I think that's an important thing. Like if you have kids and they're showing, no, games are not for everyone. Like we were joking with a friend that has a 9-year-old, and we're like, oh yeah, he's gonna be like an esports star, and he's gonna like make us rich and blah blah blah. We were joking because, and like he does like as every children right now, he plays a lot of Fortnite and that sort of stuff, and he kinds of likes the games that we play, like Overwatch and that, but he doesn't, he's not that interested in it in them. So it's like it's kind
Yeah,
of a thing
because
of
you're not.
choice of like what games would you pick up. Like for us, or at least for me it's been like a different thing because I was always passionate about games and games always been in my life. So I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, and that's why I studied game design. And like it was like, and different kinds of games were always part of my life, like fighting games, a sports game, and adventure games, and that sort of stuff. Like, and and I kind of like all those different games, and they were never not part of my life. Gaming was never not part of who I was. So maybe it's a thing of people, right?
Of course, it is. I mean, if you think about it, video games quite easily can make no sense to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, why are we wasting our time on that?
Yes,
Really?
yes. eh, that's curious. But I'm happy with it for the 7-year-old like actually enjoying World of Warcraft. Will he grow up to be a technical World of Warcraft player? We will not we will see in the future, but who knows?
I mean, World of Warcraft is a good game, man.
Yes, it is.
Like at a basic level. Like even if all you is questing, the quests are interesting, and if you look into the story of the game, it is telling a somehow compelling story.
Yeah.
So
Well,
as a story,
yeah,
like just as a storytelling device, quite interesting.
yeah.
A lot of people play it just for that. Like they never go into quote unquote end game stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Or
well,
like
well,
it can be just a device for role playing, and a
yeah,
lot of
for
people
having
do that.
fun or like exploring and seeing weird stuff and like reading stuff. What
Yeah,
other game that
so
we play would you like recommend? to children.
Oh, I don't. I wouldn't recommend WoW to any children.
All right.
The problem is that I wouldn't just because for me WoW is a heavily social dependent game,
Fair enough. Yeah.
and maybe
Well,
as like a 7-year-old requires a lot of attention because strangers are just scary.
yes.
Because people are assholes.
Well,
So
as we were talking about, like it is a very social dependent game till a
it
certain
is.
point. Like if the kid doesn't want to go into a dungeon, I think he's going with his dad. Like he's the one.
That's
who
fine. No,
told him, yeah.
that's fine. Like he's been
Yeah.
guided
Yes.
by
Correct.
his dad.
Correct.
That's perfectly fine. Like he has an adult taking care of him and looking out for him.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But I really don't know if I would recommend WoW to a kid. I think for as much as I don't like Minecraft and I really don't get it,
Yeah.
it probably offers a very safe and like fun experience. Like it is just about exploration and doing stuff.
All right.
It's virtual Legos, and that's
Yeah.
fun.
Will you recommend Dauntless or Monster Hunter World to a kid?
Why not?
Yeah, that was my question.
I mean, for as mechanically hard, quote unquote, that they are,
Yeah.
there's really nothing that you cannot overcome, especially as a young kid,
Yeah.
which they learn things really fast.
Yeah.
So I don't see why not.
Yeah, there you go. We have
Monster Hunter is a really fun game as well.
Yeah. So yeah, this is really interesting for the future generation of gamers that will come today. I wonder what age will you see that somebody is destined to be an esports gamer?
Oh, that's probably like
15, 16?
early teens or
right?
something like that.
Yeah.
Like if you see that they have one, the mechanical skills, and two, the interest in
the competitive interested. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can, like, teenagers can show more, like a more defined interest in things. Like
Than kids. Yeah.
like a 14-year-old has probably a better idea than a 9-year-old of what do they want to do, and if something is interesting to them or not.
Yeah. The future generation, man.
It is just interesting too.
It is interesting. Yeah. How will they play?
And mobile games are real games.
Mobile games are real games. Are you defending your waifus, Lucho?
It is surprisingly deep. Like
I know. I still haven't get deep enough in mobile gaming. My main interaction with mobile games is like I'm running a dungeon like crawler game. That's it in my cell phone, and I enjoy that from time to time. But like
the mobile game that I play, I like it. It's just because it tickles.
Yeah,
it is a weird mix between it's somehow casual, but you have to like you can get really deep into it and like numbers and spreadsheets and things that I enjoy.
There we go.
and the game rewards a lot of like the gameplay itself is not that engaging.
Yeah.
But the preparation is where the fun is.
Is the fun? All right, fair enough. I don't know. I like my dungeon crawler. I've been having fun with it once in a while. But beyond that, I haven't found any actual like mobile game that traps me.
You have never tried them seriously.
Oh. So it's a thing about like I'm not serious enough for mobile gaming.
Oh, you're not serious enough about any game.
What? Why? Why are you accusing me that I'm not serious enough about any game?
Because you're not. You're a little bitch.
Why I'm a little bitch? Why?
Because you never grind enough.
I never grind enough. All right,
Yeah.
fair enough. Okay, sure.
That's not a real. You're a little bitch. You're afraid of the grind.
I'm afraid of the grinds. Thank you, Luch.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on. Moving the world forward in World of Warcraft. This is talking about, in theory, at the end of BFA, the conflict between Horde and Alliance is over. In theory, right? In theory.
Not. I mean, like this war. That doesn't mean that the
Yeah.
conflict is over.
Yeah. And they
Like
were
the conflict
wondering,
was over after the third war.
yeah. And they're wondering what's going to happen with PvP, because of course PvP is always being Horde against Alliance and the eternal struggle and blah blah blah. I don't think, like, to tell you the truth, I don't think that is like a problem. I think that you can like still have like PvP tournaments with against the two factions, right?
Yeah, but that is not. I guess like the larger discussion in the community is okay. So this whole faction war was a thing.
Yeah.
And it said that it was gonna change. Like we should see some consequences out of this war. And some people say, oh, maybe the consequence should be that we blur the lines, or we get rid up to some degree of the lines between Alliance and Horde.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that you cannot have PvP. Like you can always have PvP, even if there is just one big faction. That really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I mean, I say that like it doesn't matter. Like on a technical point of view, you can still go and kill people. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like flavor wise.
Yes,
Warcraft
that's the thing,
is a world built on the fact. Like,
yeah, correct.
Like not only mechanically speaking, because mechanically speaking as well, it is built on the factions.
Correct. Yeah.
Like the classes and like the races are balanced around the factions. The classes that each race can take is balanced around the factions.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of mechanical things balanced around the fact that we have two non-interacting factions in the game.
Non-friendly factions, yeah.
But even if we disregard all of that, like a lot of the flavor of the game comes from we Horde or we Alliance.
Yeah.
So I put this topic on because I was wondering, how would you make, how do you advance the world?
If you blur the alliance, like if you blur the factions,
or if not, if that is not the solution, like how would you make this world be meaningful? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like in the world, like the forward that happened that we've been fighting for the last 2 years.
It's like, as I see it, I see more the alliance as the Horde as two different countries. Right? In a technical sense, like there are two different countries and they don't have to like mingle, like they don't have to, like you don't have to have a disappearance or their faction identities. That's my point. Even if the war is over, right? Because you don't, if you have a war with another country, and the war ceases and stop, you don't stop being from one or the other country.
I mean, sometimes you do, and that's the point. Like
sometimes you get conquered or invaded or whatever.
No, but like if you think about, like a lot of countries have merge and split and merge and disappear across him and his.
That is true.
Like not necessarily just by conquering one or the other, like just like they just change boundaries, for example, or things like that. So and that changes the world. So the question is, it's like
that's the question.
Like if we want this world to be meaningful for the
then you will say like
world.
what, the alliance or the horde should disappear, or
how would you do it? Like it is. Should we just get rid of the factions and
then you woo
and fuck it? Which I don't think is gonna happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people would like to see that. I wouldn't like it, but
yeah.
But what would you do? Like what? How, like in which direction would you move things?
It's a hard question for me. I think
it is.
I think I will do something funky, right?
Like
I will do funky things like allow you to take people from the horde to go to certain dungeons, right? Because I understand it now. Do we share dungeons? We do share dungeons, right? The alliance and the horde share the same pool of dungeons, right?
Yes, of course.
But we cannot go together to a dungeon. Like you cannot take
what?
You cannot go. You cannot have a mixed group into a dungeon.
No.
That could be it, right? You can have a horde orc going with a human mage into a dungeon, and like in looking for group 2, you will have like random groups, like mixed faction groups, but you will still not lose the factions, right? Because your overall government structure will maintain itself as a country. But you can take from the both to go to public events, technically speaking. Right?
I guess.
But then the question is, what will you do if you want to maintain war PvP? That will be the weird part.
Yeah, and
then you will just declare yourself a xenophobe and be against horde? Or I don't know. But for me that would be interesting, like to see like public events or like dungeon things having like mixed alliance and horde players.
Maybe. I'm not completely sold on the idea.
On the idea of mix, can you imagine a raid with like alliance and horde players?
That just. But if you can do that, then what is the point of having the faction?
Good question.
No, I mean because now the factions are meaningful.
Yeah, right now the factions are meaningful because of things like the factions are meaningful right now because of the divide.
Yes, of course, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
so if you get rid of the division, like in core activities like raids and dungeons, then what is the point? What is the point of having a blue or red logo next to your portrait?
Well, if that's what the war means, then there is no point, because what do you represent then? If both factions are like, that's the question. Like fundamentally, what do you represent being from the alliance?
Could mean anything for each player.
Yeah. It could be like civilized. It could be like, I like the races that exist in the alliance. I like the way they look.
But think about it. Like it is like the decision of which faction you make or you're gonna make your character into is meaningful. Like right now.
Yeah.
And
it's meaningful because it has because it narrows your choices.
Yes. Yeah, because you're locked down out of other things.
Correct. Which that choice is still meaningful because I'm not removing that. I'm
You
just
kind of
putting
are.
how by putting like mixed alliance and horde players in a dungeon or in a public
Yeah,
event.
yeah. I mean, you kind of are.
Why? You still have to choose one of the two factions for the race that you want or for the access to things that you want or what you like. Still a meaningful choice.
Sure, but like, I don't know, like just going to a raid with a mixed faction, it just feels like it really feels like it diminishes the point of having two
Well,
factions.
you wanna you wanna represent what it means the end of BFA, and the end of BFA is like both factions are peaceful to one another and will have cooperation between one another.
That's one option. No one said that.
Like no, yes, I'm putting like on the table what ideally it means the peace between the factions, quote unquote, right? So you can do it even
Peace,
different, like you can
peace
even
doesn't,
build a raid.
peace
Yeah.
doesn't imply cooperation.
What?
Peace doesn't imply cooperation.
Peace, that is true. Peace doesn't imply cooperation, but then why will you have peace with like just to not have war?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what peace means.
Just to not have conflict, then nothing's changed, right?
Um, is that the like? I mean, I am like personally, I am on the vote that I don't want the factions to change. I like playing alliance.
They don't have to change. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like if like it's a thing about ideology. Like if you are with peace with another country, well, you would like to have some like trade deals with that country or
Well,
like have some clear frontier stuff with that country. You're not obliged to do it, but it's sometimes very convenient to do it, right?
but
So
I
what?
still want to go out and kill them.
Well, that's the question. What does it mean being with peace in the factions? What does that mean? Does that mean cooperation? Does that mean just like simply we don't see each other for a while and then the next time that we see each other we start killing again?
I mean, that's
Does
what
that mean that I
cooperation
can
have meant
go?
in the
Does
past.
mean that I can apply to a visa for a horde territory and I don't get attacked when I pass by it?
No. Like they have the factions have been at peace, quote unquote, before.
Yeah. So what does that imply?
Oh,
What happened
nothing. But that's the
before?
point. Like
Nothing.
people do want to change that.
How? Why?
That's what I'm asking
Besides
you.
cooperation, what else do you want to change besides that?
Oh, I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. But
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
like the
saying.
cooperation idea.
That's what I'm saying. That would be my idea. That's the more kind of like logic approach, more possible approach. Have some sort of cooperation. You can be like a raid with half and half, or like you can go into dungeons together, or maybe not. You can like do some piece of the raid as a horror player, and then that will progress the raid for the other part of the thing. I don't know. Like that's the only thing that I imagine if you want to change it, because if peace already happened and nothing happened, and people want something to happen, the obvious thing is like having cooperation, even if it's against a common enemy.
Sure, like you're saying the obvious thing, but
Yeah, that's the obvious thing.
that's what I'm. What is the least obvious one? Like, what is the smart idea?
um, hmm, what is the least obvious thing?
Like, what is the clever choice?
Being like the other thing is like being some kind of hybrid, like as these guys suggested, have a third faction, or be allless or factionless, or like having both factions at the same time, and then that will create a new category of kind of players.
So a third faction.
Yeah, have a third faction that is a mix of both. It could be Like beyond cooperation and like mixture, what else can you do in that context? In
I'm
that
not
like
sure.
in that kind of like political struggle that's been for years and years and years.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you think about the previous expansions, like, technically speaking, even though there has been some conflict between the factions, it has been peaceful for the most part.
All right.
Because, like, this Battle for Azeroth thing is called the Fourth War, which means that there was no war really. Like the Third War was what happened in Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
Which was not really war between the factions more
No.
than war against Legion.
Correct.
But if you think about it, like, for example, Legion was, like, for the most part, it was both factions cooperating to repeal the Legion invasion.
Yes.
Cataclysm was, again, kind of similar, like, both factions more or less cooperating to deal with Blackwing.
But they've always been like separated.
They have always been separated, but you can make an argument that, technically speaking, they've been at peace.
All right.
For the most part. Like, there has no been war on paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
That is the status quo of peace in the, I guess, in the World of Warcraft experience.
I think the like I think the options, like there is nothing else that you can do like outside the box, because we don't have like take like if you think it in terms of sociology reflections, what generally happen, either they join and the factions are gone, or or there is a third faction which is neutral, or there is cooperation between the two factions, even like keeping their faction identity. Like they're generally the answers in real examples.
Yeah, but this is a video game. We can do
Yeah, but we
something
don't
more
have
interesting
anything
than
else to
real life.
reflect to. Like, that's the thing. What
We
else can you
should be.
do in terms of
We should
society,
be
in terms
able to with.
of social structuring?
It is social structuring,
Yeah, there you
but
go.
we should be. But that doesn't mean that we have to restrict ourselves to what
No,
happens in
no, no,
the
no.
real
You
world.
can do both, all of them, none of them.
But that's what. But again, you're just giving me
Then,
examples of things
well,
that
then
happen in the real world.
the question is what will be more satisfying for the end of this story?
Oh, I don't. That is a personal question.
There you go. What will feel
That
more?
just depends how you feel personally about the fact.
What will be more satisfied for the story, or what will serve better the story
It
of the conflict in BFA?
again, that depends on how you feel about the factions.
I think at the end, at least for me, then it becomes a personal question. At least for me, I would like cooperation, because I don't know.
I would not.
I like the friendship between Jaina and Thrall. That's nice.
Yeah, but one thing is a friendship between, like, main characters of the
Yeah.
game, and another thing is me caring about a bunch of random orcs.
Well, maybe you have a system on it when you can befriend an enemy horde player.
Why would you do that?
Why not?
Because it's better to kill them.
Jesus, all right.
That's why we play War Mode.
Well, do you want to keep the conflict on? They don't care. They don't care. Everything is the same. They're at peace. But if you see them, you stab them, and that's it. Is that satisfying for you?
Again, like, I made it clear before. Like, personally speaking,
Personally,
I don't mind it.
Then it
Like,
becomes, well. Then don't take it personally. Then what the story will serve better? What will serve better the story overall?
it is weird because for me, the most relevant part of VFA was not the conflict, but Jaina's story. and I was very satisfied with the ending of that storyline.
All right. Okay.
You know what would be interesting to see?
Yeah.
Zones changing control.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. When you want neutral zones already exist, technically speaking.
Yeah. No. But I mean like zones here.
But will you do
On
it through?
Kalimdor,
Will you do it through
or
capture or like randomly
no,
occupations or what?
like that would make sense. Like, let's say, for example,
Do like that will make sense that somebody like they will like give the horde territory.
not or
And
give or take in, because
yeah,
there were battles. Like, for example, the Darkshire
yeah, that's true.
Warfront.
Yeah.
So one faction should win it, and that faction
Should keep
should
that
now
territory.
have control.
Oh, okay.
And right now, like pre-BFA, it was controlled by the Alliance because it was the connecting zone to Teldrassil.
Correct.
So it'll be interesting if it's now won by the Horde. It didn't happen because I think Ian said that both Warfronts were won by the Alliance. And sadly, those both Warfronts were already Alliance territory, so nothing changed.
Nothing changed, yeah.
Which I think it's such a stupid idea. Like it will be cool that Darkshire is now like
controlled by the
Horde controlled territory.
Yeah.
And maybe the Alliance invaded to like one extra piece of land in Kalimdor, and now they control it.
Yeah.
That kind of change would be interesting and permanent. Like,
yeah.
At least until the next war.
Yeah. Yeah,
like that kind of thing will be because
that
changes the world itself.
Yeah, correct.
But not mechanically speaking. Like for example, now Teldrassil is burned, and that changed the world.
And that should be controlled by the Horde, technically speaking.
Yeah, I mean Teldrassil is destroyed, so really no one can go. But
you don't know.
I don't know. No, I know no one can go to Teldrassil.
Why not? You can like build something from it. You can throw a bunch of like goblins to it, and like they will do something.
Maybe okay. That could be interesting.
Yeah,
something like
go.
that.
You throw goblins at something, and they will do something from it. It's the same with the gnomes. Same thing. Just throw them a problem, and they will make it habitable.
Maybe, but things like that, or for example, Lord Duran, like the undead city.
Yeah, correct.
It will be interesting if it changes. If a
piece of Lordaeron will try to return to the Alliance.
No, like if the whole zone becomes Alliance control, and like okay, now all the undead faction has to find a new city.
You will be displacing the undead from it.
Yeah, of course.
And returning to human control. Yeah.
That was kind of the whole point of the first scenario that you play in BFA.
Yeah, correct.
That the Alliance is invading the city.
Yeah, correct.
And like Sylvanas nuke it with his blight bombs and stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know. You take a bunch of vacuum cleaners and
exactly. Find it away.
I don't know. Jaina freezes all the bad stuff. She's powerful and beautiful, and I love her.
Jaina creates a giant fan of the.
She does, and I'm all. If they tell me that Jaina is the most powerful mage in the world, I'll be so happy about it. Jaina's Bay. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, real consequences in the actual war.
Those are the type of changes that I would like to see. Now that I think of it,
that makes sense.
More than like faction changes. Kind of. I like to kill me orcs. But that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Like I guess that I'm not that attached with the actual or Warcraft territory, but that will be interesting to actually see
I'm
those
not
territories change.
that attached, but like for example, like you played a Worgen.
Yeah.
What it'll be interesting. What if the Worgen capital or like a relevant zone for your race is lost? Like
Well,
let's
that would
think, for
be,
example, humans. What if
yeah.
Goldshire, like
Jesus.
Alwyn
Okay.
Forest, is lost?
Yeah, that would be weird. Yeah, that would be impactful. Yes. Yes.
That'll be, which it's for example, like
Yeah.
for a lot of people who play Night Elves,
Yeah.
losing Teldrassil,
It's
it's a
insane.
huge deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, and the thing is, like, I was there, and now it's burned down.
Hmm.
And now there's a bunch of goblins making a char city from the tree.
That kind of thing will be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And like for example, imagine how cool it would be. Okay, we lost Teldrassil, but now the Lions regain Lordaeron, and
Lordaeron.
we're really need to shuffle the Night Elves there.
We will give in Lordaeron to the Niles.
Go.
Go take
You
it.
need a city.
You
Go.
vacuum. You vacuum. Here's a bunch of vacuums.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that'll be interesting. And that'll be a real world consequences of the story of BFA.
I mean, it's maybe, and that's the kind of thing that probably has more weight for people who have been playing the game for longer. That
And
they're
you know,
used to the songs being.
and you know that it will be now more than ever with Shadowkeep easier to do, because they're removing starting zones being actual towns in the world.
Yeah, not completely. I think you still can decide
still-
what do you want to do.
Yes, but like the basic zone is now gonna be the Exiles Reach. Think it's
But you
cool?
can still pick your racial zone.
You can still choose like, I want to level up, but no. But I mean, that makes it easier, right? Because you now.
Oh yeah,
you
no,
pick.
absolutely.
Now it's no longer automatic, right?
Oh
now
yeah,
you
no,
pick.
absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe they will do it. Who knows?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
But now they have the opportunity to do it because the world is more flexible in that sense.
I think it would be cool. I really think
Yeah.
those kind of changes are interesting.
Yeah. But that thing lets them like be way more flexible with the world. I think that small change of like the starting zone gives them that advantage.
It does. It definitely does.
So yeah, it's not a bad idea. Cooperation will be interesting too, for me at least.
Kill me, Hordis.
maybe befriending a horde player would be interesting too.
No, kill them all.
Kill them.
Burn them with fire. In sacred fire.
Like, yeah, you can have like neutral zones with war. I don't know. I like war mode.
I mean, you already have
Yeah.
a lot of neutral zones for
Yeah.
both factions quests and
Yeah, correct.
that kind of thing.
But yeah. The changing territories is interesting. The cooperation thing could be, and now they have the actual opportunity to make those changes into the war, which is why what the community as a whole suspects that they're gonna do, evolve and change the war somehow from Shadowkeep, because we're gonna have a time skip officially reveal.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Yeah, I mean, it's not Ian just said
Yeah.
that time moves differently in Shadowlands.
Yeah.
That's all he said. Which people extrapolated to time skip. We don't know about that. Like, it's still like we'll spend 2 years on Shadowlands. We don't know how probably Blizzard knows how the next expansion of the Shadowlands is gonna pan out, but we don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But time moves in a different way, and people jump the game like, oh, you have fucking time skip and stuff.
We gotta come back to it as they're 10 years older, or like a century or some shit.
It could be the other way around.
It could be
It
like,
could be obvious.
you went in and then an hour passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same. It's like, are you back? And then you come back like with weird armor and shit. You're like, what? What were you doing?
Inception style.
Ah,
It could be that. It could
Yeah.
perfectly be that. And I can see them doing that more than time skipping the world.
I don't know. With all this revamp to systems and that sort of stuff and deep pruning, I think they're in the perfect position to like revamp territories in the actual
Well,
whole war.
I really think it will be an interesting result
Yeah.
of the war, just to
Yeah.
change some pieces around
Yes.
to
Move
keep it
some
interesting.
stuff, shake stuff, and evolve stuff, because we haven't seen like longer peace and what happens with Kingdom Blossoms and doesn't have to war all the time.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if, like, I don't know, they expand the buildings in Stormwind or something like that, or build more city. I don't know, right?
That's an idea.
Yeah.
Although I don't think they'll change the two main cities at all. They are too
They can
iconic.
expand it, right? They don't have to like destroy them, rebuild them. They can expand them. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but like they did that for Ogrimmar in Cataclysm. Like
Yeah,
they didn't expand it, but like they
change it. I know that
it
they
went
change
through a
it.
radical change,
Yeah, people hate it,
and
right?
a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's just like the two capital cities are like real close to players' hearts.
All right, fair enough. So be careful.
But you can, I guess, you can mess around with the other ones.
Yeah. Anyways, for our final topic in the deep dive, how would you like to see seasonal changes for Diablo 4? Because we will probably have seasons in Diablo 4 more than likely.
We will have.
We
Apparently.
will have season in Diablo 4.
Yeah.
So right
I mean,
now in
they say
Diablo
that.
3, right now in Diablo 3 we have kind of like season teams, and they're putting on some items, and that's it. So, what will you like to see? Would you like to see things like in Path of Exile? Will they bring a mechanic through all the thing, and then they bring an entire whole mini game inside the season?
I would like that. That would be interesting.
Or will you like expansions on the overworld? Like actually have more territory that they give you on the normal thing, and then more places to explore?
I think
Yeah.
I think that shouldn't be seasonal. That should be part of like the base growth of the game.
What do you mean?
Like expanding the open world.
No.
It's not something like sure, it should season by season add something. But it's not like taking away like when this, you know what I mean? It's just
What if we do a cycling content like Bungie?
I think it's stupid.
And then you build a new place, but you burn down the old one because demons took over, and then you cannot go back to that zone. Like if you have a real conflict in Diablo 3 where I forgot the name of the word of Diablo 3 freaking Sanctuary is being like actually take over by demons, and like you have like swaths of land inaccessible because of demon invasions, and then you take them over for seasons and discover things there, and then you maybe
that just feels odd because like in Diablo you want to feel powerful. Like you're one-man army against the armies of hell.
it depends, but because we don't know what we are in Diablo 4. If we are Nephilim, yes.
Whatever we are, it doesn't matter. Give it the name that you want.
All right.
Like the point is not what are we. The point is that like in essence, Diablo is 1, 2, and 3 have been about you are the soul warrior fighting
a whole
the armies of hell.
Yeah. All right.
So if you have like if you have especially like a zone that is completely overrun,
yeah,
why wouldn't we the heroes want to go there?
Maybe it's too much.
Try. Okay, let it be too much, but like let it be super hard, but let us go. You
But
know,
then,
like
then, well, all right. So then maybe we have like invaded zones, like when there are more demons than usual, or there are
oh sure, no, I'm
more
fine
thing
with that, but
happening.
I'm fine with that, but that is not taking away the content that is rotating, like the difficulty from place to place.
Yeah. So
That is
will you
not taking away the content.
we like things like they do it in Path of Exile, where you have like new mechanics introduced to the game
Oh
and
yeah, I
expansion
love that.
mechanics introduced into
Sure,
the game.
yeah,
And new places to go and like eat items like radically different when like the last expansion of Path of Exile was insane. You have you seen the like the talent tree of Path of
yeah,
Exile, right? It's this ginormous node tree, right? You have seen that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So in this last expansion, what they did is like you now have gems that expand the tree. So you have a gem and you put in a part like the in part of the talent trees there are like some empty slots when you can slot gem that gives you a specific thing that you want there. So now they design these
Sure,
like special gems when you have nodes that expands from that gem. So you have an entire new
sure.
tree expanding out from the talent trees, and that change like radically the game, right?
Okay,
That's the kind of seasons that they're giving in Path of Exile. Like they
okay.
changed radically the experience of the game. I think that would
I,
be
I don't even want like I don't even care if the change is that radical, but just meaningful enough.
yeah. And then they have and like, will you agree to have the same thing about of Excel when you keep some of that content but not everything? Like the way they do it,
I
they
don't know how
do
Part of Exile does.
the way they do it. I'm gonna tell you, the way they do is like they put a season out. If people like it, they leave it permanently for a time, right? Because I think they have like certain things that they can have at the same time in the game. There's like a cap of things that you can have in the game. So if people like it a lot, there's been instances with seasonal teams has been liked so much that being permanently attached to the game, and there's some others that are rotating through the game. So examples of permanent ones, the prophecies, which was like season 5, I think, something like that. It's been like forever in the game. But there was one about the pyramid when you go and like look through a pyramid and explore some pyramids. People didn't like that much. That hasn't been seen for like a long time. The other one are the bestiary, and that was permanently added to the game, right? Delve, which was going through an infinite dungeon that expands and you are buying certain things, that's been permanently added to the game. But they retire some of the old things that were on the game in seasons. They have like a 8, 9 season team rotation stuff, but they're not tied to do it to keep them. Like if a thematic of the season don't like the community doesn't like it, they just permanently disappear them, and they move to the next one. Like for example, what's the name of buy or something? But there was like the season previous to this, it was like you build a boss through the like you pick up organs and then you build a boss in each of the levels, like at your preference. And people like it was a nice theme, but it wasn't. The community didn't like it that much, so they didn't leave it permanently in the game. So would you like something like that?
Really, I don't care.
That's how they do it in Path of Exile, and that's why the game is like ridiculously expansive and complex by now.
I really don't care, and I don't know if that's the right approach for Diablo.
You don't think that is expanding at that rate is good? You prefer, or do you prefer like just one season team and then it goes away?
It could be better,
It could be better, like what?
like what you just said.
Yeah. I understand. Sorry. So you just one seasonal team and then it goes away.
Yeah,
Will you not like season to have like some kind of repercussion in the game world overall?
I really don't mind it in Diablo, but that's just because I don't see I didn't see a necessity in Diablo to have that.
To have like permanency in the game
Yeah.
world. To have like permanent changes in the game world.
Yeah.
You don't see that Diablo needs that?
I don't see it right now, but it could have it, maybe.
Because the question is like, what is Diablo 4 aiming at? I'm guessing that it's aiming at the same as every game is aiming right now, like infinite, durable, expansive, live service game till the sun burn out.
Probably.
So in that sense, like the Path of Exile model has been working for GGG.
Yeah, but it may not work for Blizzard.
It may not work for Blizzard. Yeah, that is true.
Why would you copy a model? Like, again, that doesn't make sense. Like, you need a differentiating factor. Like, you don't want to just be copying what other people are doing.
All right. But
That's basic marketing.
do you agree with the seasonal themes? Like that should be a cadence. And like, and the
Sure,
other question is,
it depends how long the seasons are. What kind of changes are they bringing to the seasons?
That's the other question. Like, how long will the seasons be? How long will the thing will be? Like, based in knowledge of Path of Exile and Diablo 3, 3 months.
Once I don't care about Path of Exile, I don't know what they do. Usually 3 months. It sounds like a decent enough. 3 to 4 months should be like a decent amount of time for a season where like you can gear up in like the first month, push for maybe a month or a couple of weeks, and then take a rest.
Would you like,
which is healthy for the game?
Would you like permanent achievements in the season, like Destiny ones?
What do you mean by that? I have no idea what that means.
Like, there's some achievements or badges that you can only get during like doing the content of the season.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you? What else can we put on in? We would like the items of seasons to be permanently added to the game, or just like dismissed at the end of the season.
Oh, that is a loaded question.
Like, will it be
because
like Diablo 3
we
seasons?
don't know the itemization of Diablo 4, so I cannot tell you that.
That is true. That is true. But like,
it depends. It completely depends on the
completely
itemization.
depends on how the items work in Diablo 3. That would be your answer.
Diablo 4. Yep.
In Diablo 4, yeah. Yeah. Because so far, like the two examples, they do that. They just like dismiss all the old, like the delete, the reset the things at the end of the season.
That is one option.
Yeah. But we can look like Destiny 2 doesn't do that. They have like permanent items.
Yep.
So
again,
so many questions. So little information.
Again, it is just a loaded question that can only be answered once we know the itemization of the game in detail.
But definitely,
because it depends.
Yeah.
In the core on how the game is.
But I will say one thing, and I would love to see seasonal themes very, very tied to whatever story D4 is trying to tell us.
Don't care.
I would like. I would like.
I really don't care.
You don't care.
Diablo has never been a story. Like, it has never been a game about the story. Like, I like the world, but the story is always
I would like it. You don't care. You care that the seasonal themes will be fun and nice.
Oh, that's way more important.
Yeah. And that it works for the game.
Yeah.
I think that's what we want.
I think that is way more important.
Yeah, definitely. But definitely between 3 and 4 months. Depends how much content does the actual season brings.
I think between 3 and 4 months, and like there is one thing to be said. Like, if you reset the items, and you need to
regrind.
Yeah. You can have 4 months instead of 3 months. Because people will need a couple of extra weeks to gear up.
So the cadence that Diablo 3 season has right now is like 4 months ish.
Yeah. Which I think is fine if you're aiming for a little, like for like some extra weeks at the end, where when people can take a break in between the seasons.
Yeah, correct.
Because not having breaks
It's bad.
will tire people really bad.
Yes, correct.
Especially
if you have
like
to regrind. Yeah.
2 or 3 years into the life of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. But we'll see about the itemization and all that in the future.
Yeah, that is a beast, difficult to tame.
Yeah, we like in this day and age, after all the different type of optimizations that we have seen through all the kind of games, we would just wish that they are good. We are not
Yeah, I mean,
wishing for like revolutionary item, but we just wish that they're good.
They're just there are many correct answers to
Yeah.
itemization problem. So it depends how are they gonna take it.
Correct. But we wish.
And we'll see. Like that's really hard to tell right now because we
Yeah.
know nothing about that.
Yeah, just previews and like some stuff, and they want to do kind of the exotic system with the legendaries, and
sure,
we don't know anything.
You know that all those are just words until people get to play with the items and see.
Correct.
See the nuts and cracks of the.
All right. I think that's it for a deep dive today. Now we move to our audience questions and feedback. Don't forget that if you want to contact us, you have our email, or Twitter account, or personal Twitter accounts at the London Gamer, at Luis G. Polanco. You have the section comments here in YouTube if you are watching us or hearing us in YouTube. You can pass by my stream. I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and ask questions for the podcast on there, and we will answer here all your burning questions. So the first questions of the day is regarding to our Destiny news. What do you guys think of the vault system for content and the sunsetting in the Destiny 2 implementing? The sunsetting about the rotation of the weapons and all that stuff.
Trash.
Lucho says, burn it all.
I mean, that's my opinion now, but they can change my opinion.
Yeah. So you know how the sunsetting of the Destiny 2 things is going to work, right?
More or less, yeah.
They're going to like, some of the old weapons can be like level up beyond some seasons, and except for exotics.
Yeah.
And the vault that we discussed up in the news section, that I don't know. The sunsetting doesn't bother me that much. Like, I do not like to have like all those old weapons that are always gonna be the best thing in a slot to have forever and ever. So like new weapons. I'm pretty interested in this season because there is a part of the actual like darkness engrams that you can like add an extra perk to a weapon. That will be interesting. That will be extra power on weapons that you're gonna keep for a long time. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I want to see it. And the vault content, maybe it will work for them. Depends how they manage it, right?
Yeah, let's say that.
Lucho is very, very skeptic and not liking the idea. Definitely. But
they can prove me wrong. Definitely, but
they can prove Lucho wrong. But so far, it's been me.
Yeah, I have no trust.
All right. And the second question of today is, what kind of goals do you like in games? Do you like ranks? Do you like achievements? Do you like badges? Do you like personal goals? Do you like community goals?
Like collecting stuff.
Do you like collector goals? So like kind of have 15 over 15 or whatever you want to go.
Yep.
Me as a sweaty, I do like rank. I do like ranking games. Even if rank doesn't matter, I do like have rank in games. And I do like some achievements. I don't care about badges. But I do like some achievements.
I don't have to prove how weak my digital D is.
Hey, it's a personal preference. Nobody's judging anybody.
Oh, I am judging.
You judge me all the time. You already judge me all the time.
I know.
Oh my god. All right, that's our questions for
That's
today.
it.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. That's all for this week's episode. Once again, thanks for tuning in into The Sweaty Farmer and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at LuisGPolanco.
And I am the Lone Name Gamer. You can find me on Twitter at the Lone Name Gamer and on Twitch on twitch.tv/Lone Name Gamer TV, where I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Don't forget to share, like, tell everybody that you love this podcast. Tell everybody that you're finding entertaining and informative and everything else. Tell your neighbor, tell your kids. I don't know if you should tell your kids, but tell your kids, tell your pets, tell everybody. Shout it out to the wind that you love the Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Did you know people have actually used coconut fibers over the centuries to construct robust armor? This includes the natives of Kribat Islands who use woven coconut strings to build their suits. Man, coconut armor is the next power armor. Better than Kevlar.
It sounds amazing, actually.
You have an armor that can protect you and you can eat it at the same time.
I don't think it works that way, but let's say that yes.
Wait.
And coconut milk is not the same as coconut water. Coconut milk has a high fat content, around 17%, but is low in sugars. It is frequently added to curries and other savory dishes. Coconut cream can also be created from the milk.
Delicious, yeah. But what do you get? So how do you do coconut milk and how do you do coconut water? Coconut water is inside a coconut, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a desert island and you have coconuts, then you can drink water, technically speaking. Coconut milk is like the skin of the coconut, and then...
Coconut milk is made out of the white part.
The skin of the coconut, right?
It's not the skin, it's
not the skin, it's the pulp.
The flesh.
The pulp, the flesh. It's like what, you like liquid the flesh of the coconut and then you do milk from it?
Probably something around those lines.
Because have you ever done like coconut rice?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can like make coconut milk and then fry it to do the rice, or you can like fry the actual like skin of the coconut and that gives them a stronger flavor. So I wonder if coconut is like actually made from it. So
I assume that.